Blessings, folks. Welcome back to another episode of the Hitstreak. I'm your man, Nick Hyder. And folks, I've got an extra special treat joining me in the Hit Lab today. With all that's going about and around the world and everything else, I'm really excited to bring you guys the founder of Change the Stars, my dude, Jeff Ponchillia. Jeff, how we doing, baby?
Outstanding. Just excited to be here and talk about some of the current conditions in Haiti and also talk about what we're doing to try to help some of the children in Haiti.
So that's what Change the Stars is about, right? So tell me, what is Change the Stars?
We're a nonprofit 501c3 and started 2012, started basically helping some schools and then an orphanage. And over the last 12 years, it's grown to multiple orphanages, helping the Children's Hospital, scholarship program. Now we're doing some food distributions because of the current conditions in Haiti are just getting worse.
Man. So, well, first of all, I think that's outstanding. What was the call to mission here? How did you become? I've known you. All right, so let's go back a little bit. I've known you since the early 2000s.
Yes.
And we both knew each other in a previous life when we were in the hospitality industry, right? So you were also an owner.
Yes.
And a good one. Which is where I met you, right? So yeah. I'm curious as to how you went from that to where you're at today. So let's go back a little bit.
Started as a school teacher, and then for a couple of years I kind of got sidetracked when I met you, and then got back into teaching around 2008. Mostly worked with at-risk kids, and 2012 the charter school I helped open lost the charter. And that summer I was planning on doing a mission trip to Africa, and my family was helping fund a hospital in Haiti, and they asked me, instead of Africa, why don't you go to Haiti and see the checks were writing if they're actually doing some good. Great organization. I spent 6 weeks down there. And while I was there, they gave me a motorcycle. So I spent a lot of time out in the community and saw schools that were literally like sticks holding up sheet metal to keep the weather off of the kids. Most of the schools hadn't had books in at least 5 years. And that's when it kind of sparked me that I needed to do some more to help there. While I was there also, I was in Port-au-Prince for a couple of days staying at a house, and this lady came in and was using the Wi-Fi, and I was just talking to her, and she told me about an orphanage that was pretty much next door that was underfunded in pretty bad shape. And when I went down, I took duffel bags of toys and candy. So I grabbed a duffel bag and headed next door, and I was in there for 2 minutes and fell in love with those kids. And that's been 12 years. I've watched them grow up. Some are in college. It's been a journey.
So I want to make sure that we do the justice that that is deserved here. Okay. So I've mentioned before in previous episodes, when we talk about the National Prayer Breakfast and how we get to spend so much time with people from other countries and how different their perspective is on just life in general, but specifically about us here in the United States. Okay. So, I'm not saying there's not a lot of people here that need help, but when you talk about what you saw over there, can you help us paint a picture a little bit about the environment of how different it is?
Oh, for sure. And there's plenty of poverty here and people that need help, and there's no question about that. I think the biggest difference is there's no support. If you're here, most of the time you can get some kind of financial help for food or housing or something. In Haiti, parents are dealing with watching their children starve to death. There's no help coming, especially now, but it's legit people watching their children starve to death. I've had multiple parents try to hand me their kids to take them, and just out of desperation. I'm like, as a father, I can't imagine watching this happen to my child, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nowhere to go to get any kind of support. And, how hopeless is that to literally watch your child starve to death to the point you're willing to just hand them off to somebody that they don't even know? It's a different world. The poverty there, the hopelessness there is something I've never seen anywhere in my life.
What is the root cause of that for it to be widespread like that?
Oh, there's so many pieces to that puzzle. If I had it all figured out, we'd solve it. But it's because they were a thriving country 50, 60 years ago. And I think the natural disasters, try to avoid politics, but after those disasters, all this money's raised, and it's not getting to the people. And there's corruption on Haiti, and there's corruption with the organizations that are raising this money. So, the typical American thinks, oh, well, after the earthquake, billions of dollars went to Haiti. I think there was $7 billion raised, and less than 10% of that money got to Haiti.
Got it.
So those issues, but more recent, 2020, Haiti was the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, not even close to any other countries. Then COVID hit. Well, Haiti has survived off of nonprofits, NGOs, foreign aid. Once COVID hit, people couldn't travel to Haiti. So your nonprofits, none of that could actually go do their work. And
like for instance, just a cruise ship, it's a port, and the amount of traffic and business, thousands of people every day getting dropped off multiple times generates a lot of revenue, and that was stopped, right?
Yeah, and then just the nonprofits, the hospitals that were being funded by people here, food distributions, it all pretty much stopped. And there were still some, but you took a country that was so desperate, and now the help that it was getting has shrunk. And countries' economies were hurting, so their foreign aid was shrinking. So it just made a serious situation in a country more extreme. And during that process, as the people got more desperate, the gangs in Haiti, which weren't an issue typically other than little certain pockets, they got more and more power. And so then people, once COVID goes away, people still can't go because of safety. The last few times I've been down there, you would see maybe Americans that you could count on one hand, two hands tops.
Wow.
So it still wasn't getting, and it's like, even for me, when I go down there, it's always a reset in my life, just kind of gets my priorities back in track. And the farther you're away from it, the more you're away from it, the length of time, it doesn't become that same priority as when you go down there. I was down there 6 weeks ago. Like, it's just that refresh of give you that drive to go out and do more, raise more money, whatever you can to help the people.
Perspective is the key word for me, just because, again, ours is the bubble that is the United States. We take a lot for granted these days.
Oh, of course.
We take a lot for granted these days. And, and I think, the purpose of an episode like this is, besides just creating awareness, it's really just to paint a picture. Because again, as just growing up being in the United States, 43 years, my entire life, spending very little time in other countries, you hear about it, but like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, I can't actually picture it. I can't visualize it. And if I try, it's not even really close to what it's actually like and what's happening over there. And when you see the things that we're fighting over here today versus, we're just so lucky that we can fight over the things that we can fight over, I guess.
Yeah, no question.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're spoiled enough to do that. So, I want to make sure that I give every opportunity to paint a picture so that everybody listening with us today and hanging with us today can, in their mind, they can see what you've seen. I really want to make sure that we accomplish that here, right? So what else could you say as far as the perspective? You've seen some great things, you've seen some change, there's been some success stories, there's been kids that have been helped.
Oh, and yes, for sure.
And you've also seen them when they needed help the most.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So, and so let's stay there for a minute, and let's talk about what has made the most effective change so far that you could put your finger on.
There's so many. Just the orphanage is a great example. We have 18 kids. There'll be 21 next week. But when you go to Haiti, there's so many people that don't have hope, and especially the children. And ours, at 18, orphanages by law have to make the kids leave. Well, they're in an orphanage, so where are they going to go? There's nothing that can be done. So you have guys that'll end up in gangs and those kind of things. And with all the kids at our orphanage, they all get to go to university. They pick whatever direction they want to go. We put them through that. And it was this last time I was there, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and like, the kids have hope. They have dreams. They have goals. And most people don't. And so they know that they're going to go to a university. They know that they're going to have a chance to take care of themselves and a family eventually. And to see that hope in their eyes and their actions, it's remarkable. There's one of the girls, Armona, that was the one instantly the first time I went to the orphanage that just grabbed a hold of my heart. She was this little mischievous girl, but just so much full of life. And this last time I was down there, I was talking to her, and she's 15 now, but she's going to go to medical school. And I guarantee you she's going to be successful.
That's awesome.
And so seeing those things, and the last time I was down there too with the scholarship program we're doing, I got to see a couple of our first graduates. One of them's a nurse, and I got to go visit her and see her working. And then we had a teacher as well, and got to go to meet him and the director of the school and talk to him for a while. And so to see those success stories just reignites, what we're doing there, and to try to make it grow and to affect, more kids living in poverty.
What is it that, go more about that, talk more about that scholarship program. Let's talk about that scholarship program. I know that's a big thing you guys are doing.
To me, you go into countries that are dealing with poverty, that extreme, everybody's focused on, food, healthcare, and they're all needed and they have to happen to save lives. But it's a continuous cycle. Education is the only way, in my opinion, to break that cycle and to make an impact. So when the work started in Haiti, it originally was 12 primary schools and then the orphanage. And a couple years in, I'm like, we need to do something for the secondary schools. So we had the 6 schools in the community, and just the top student out of each of those schools will pay for you to go to school. You pick the degree if you want to go to trade school. And that has grown from 6 secondary schools. Now we have 15. Plus the kids getting older at the orphanage. So September, I think we're going to have 42 students on scholarships in Haiti, different universities, trade schools. Most of them are universities. But we have medical school, we have attorneys, we have engineers, we have agriculture, nursing, education. And because they're the top student out of their schools, every one of them is successful. And so to me, that's really creating change. And eventually I'd love to see us to have 1,000 kids on scholarship, because that many will make an impact on that country. And so it's very important to me to have that scholarship program and try to grow it. And then, the other are very important too, because a lot of it's life-saving.
Who's been some of the biggest advocates and supporters of you so far? Is it the church? Is it, where's all the resources coming from? What if the people that are out there thinking, mate, is he talking to me? Where are the resources coming from?
A lot of it, especially my family was involved until my mother and stepfather passed away. And since then, a lot of it has been me, and then some family members as well. But over the last couple of years, I've had friends and even just people off of social media. When I go down to Haiti, the children's hospital that we've been helping, we need formula and powdered Pedialyte, because the hospital specializes in malnourished kids. So I'll post something on my Instagram, and the last few times I've done it, I'll put an Amazon wish list or a shopping list. And probably the last 4 times I've done it, typically get about $5,000 worth of things.
Wow.
And you can only take so much because your weight's limited. You can't ship things to Haiti because it'll disappear. But so there's been strangers that have been friends on social media. So we've gotten a lot of help that way. Big donations are family members, some friends, people that see what we're doing. We need to do a lot more, because the last year we've got so many more projects that we're doing there, and it's getting costly. I was semi-retired after the charter school closed and focused on Haiti. And about 2 years ago, as we've grown in Haiti, the demand for money has gotten way more. So I went back. I did mortgages years and years and years ago, and I went back and started doing those, and I donate everything I make at Wesley Mortgage to what we're doing in Haiti. So and it's helped. It's kind of that tightrope though, because it's like I'm spending a lot of time working on that to drive revenue, but then I'm not spending near the time trying to raise money So it's just trying to find a balance.
That's
to
right.
do both.
I want to thank all of our loyal fans that spread across all 50 states and 14 different countries. It's absolutely amazing. Folks, help us keep spreading the word, right? Share your favorite episodes with friends and make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the Hitstreak on all digital platforms. Thanks again, and we look forward to more.
What are the biggest needs you have right now?
We can't ship things to Haiti, so it's what I can carry in duffel bags. It's pretty much $200 or 200 pounds a person is what I'm limited to getting on a plane. So it's financial. We've added another orphanage, 63 children, and that was 3-4 weeks ago. That came about. I was down that last time, and I was talking to the guy about the hope and what I see in the kids that we've have, and I'm like, I want to eventually have another orphanage that we can fund, because I know we're making a difference. These kids are going to have a future. And I came home, and it was like a week and a half later, and I get a message about this orphanage. 63 kids, no electricity, no running water, 5 mattresses, so most of the kids sleep on the floor.
It's hard to call that an orphanage.
Yeah, many sleep outside, and they weren't getting enough food. So it was like, I get this call, and I'm like, I'm not ready for this. Like, financially, we're not. But at the same time, I'm like, how do you say no? And so we started helping them. We started with food. Now we're getting pricing to build classrooms, because there's so many kids. We can do the education there, get a well dug. Obviously, we need another 60 mattresses for the kids and beds, and to extend the house to where they have a room. So a huge expense that got dumped in my lap, and it was kind of ironic that I asked for it a week and a half before, and here it is. So financially, giving money and donations is right now the most important. One day, hopefully we get this NGO, but those kind of have been slowed down by the government with the conditions in Haiti.
What's an NGO for those that don't know?
Non-governmental organization. But the benefit to those is, like, when I go to Haiti now, I have to deal with customs. I can only take so much weight. If we get that, I'll have access to like a Department of Defense plane, and I can load up thousands of pounds, whether it's rice and beans, formula for the hospital, whatever needs we have, I'll be able to take it down in a mass amount. This blows my mind. Like, if I look at bulk rice in the U.S., I can get a 50-pound bag for about $25. That same bag in Haiti is $100.
Wow.
And they don't have the money at all. So So to get that benefit, and then I could go out to organizations and ask for certain products, like a food distributor or something. So eventually, hopefully we get that. Things have been slowed just with the conditions in the government there. But for now, it's financial gifts, like giving monetary, and you could give it through the organization. Yeah. There's a bunch of different ways.
A lot of what my wife and I have been seeing, folks that are changing the stars all around the world. Many of those organizations are led by or totally encapsulated with people who had served our great nation and our armed forces, right? And you were in the Navy, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I was.
And so, first of all, thank you for your service. And but like, why do you think that is? We've got the armed forces make up a small fraction of our population here, yet they're leading the charge in a lot of the resources and aid going on around the world, right? Why do you think that is?
I think it just goes to service, putting certain things ahead of you that some people don't. And then I'm not going to say it's just vets, but you see a lot of that with veterans. You're used to making some sacrifices and working to make the situation better, save lives. There's a lot of that, I think, kind of ties in together.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head with there's that servant's heart. You know what I mean? And when you think about a lot of the things that we're arguing about here, it's all about, it was right when COVID had happened, and a lot of people were blaming their newly found circumstances on that was out of their control, and I kept saying, guys, instead of pointing the finger out for blame, turn it back in. That's the only way you can control it. That's the only way you can fix it. And it seems like that's what, with all the stuff that we're kind of going back and forth with here, it's all about, how things affect us, not how the things that we can do to serve and affect others in a positive way. Right. So, what are some of the biggest needs that you face right now at this current time?
Getting there.
Yeah. You can't even go there right now. Right.
No, right after I was there for my last visit, there was some shooting at the airport. Flights have all been stopped. Haiti right now is pretty much a civil war. It's gangs control 80% of the capital. The killings are unbelievable. I'm on some WhatsApp actually group chats, and the stuff I'm seeing, there's dead bodies everywhere. There's literally wild dogs eating them. The women are in fear because the gangs show dominance by raping the others, women, and kids are starving to death, like legitimate starving to death. It's not they're hungry. There's parts of Haiti right now where kids are eating mud pies. It's literally clay with salt, zero nutritional value, but it stops the hunger. And so getting these kids fed, we've been involved with a children's hospital for about 6 years, and they're not funded very well. And so we're buying formula. I take stuff down there, Pedialyte, paying for prescriptions they can get there. Well, they've gotten so overwhelmed with the desperation because of what's going on that they've been having to turn kids away. And when it's a hospital that deals with malnourished kids, if it's a kid getting turned away, we know what the consequences is. They're going to die. And it overwhelmed me when I found out they were having to do that. So I've been talking to them, and literally starting Saturday, we're doing food distributions for 150 kids. The parents will bring them in, but at least they'll get one meal that day. And so with the desperation, the needs and what we're doing keeps growing, and the expense of it obviously keeps growing. So I just, donations, and it doesn't matter if it's small or large, just anything helps. And we have a lot in this country, including myself, and to make certain sacrifices is it's worth it. Like to legitimately save a life is what's going to happen. And 100% of what anybody gives goes there. We don't have expenses.
No payroll, nothing like that.
No, not at all. I don't make any money. The people involved are all volunteers. The guy that oversees everything in Haiti, he's actually a product of an American that was down there that helped him go to school and paid for him to go to university. So he's heavily involved, and he will not take a dollar from it. He's there to help because he's a product, and we're helping the people of Haiti. So we don't have expenses like most organizations. And so it's every dollar that's given will go to the kids in Haiti.
So it sounds like to me, awareness is one of the biggest needs you have right now, right? So let me do it. Let's just do an ask for our audience today, right now. So if a lot of people listen to us in the car, right? So don't do this right now. Pull over. But I want you to go, first of all, if you keep up with what Change the Stars is doing online at changethestars.org, right? That's their website. But I want you to do me a solid. I want you to go to Change the Stars Instagram. It's changethestars.haiti. That's the Instagram handle.
Yes.
And I want you to just go, and I want you to share one of the most recent posts that are on that page. I just want you to do that right now. And because, again, awareness is their biggest ask. It's their biggest need. And that's one of the ways that we can use, that everybody can chime in and help, and that is simply by sharing the mission, the story, the needs, right? So I want to talk to you further after we're done shooting this about how to get you more content, okay?
Yes.
So there's more shareable stuff. And by the way, not only just share it, but if there's 5 or 6 people that like is happening to me right now, where I'm like, oh man, so-and-so needs to know about this. So Matt, Glenn, those, I need to make an introduction. Send one of those clips. You can in Instagram, and just like you can share it to a story, you can forward that in the form of a text message to somebody that needs to see it or hear it. Don't even say anything when you send it. Just send it, and they'll probably ask, "What is that? Why'd you send me that?" And your response should just be something that I'm passionate about that you needed to see. We need your help. and just see what happens. You don't get what you don't ask for, do you, Jeff?
No, not at all.
I love it.
And the Instagram is more current just because it's easier to update. And so there's a lot of videos of things from the last trip a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And I want to say something, not in defense, but like, so my dad and I operate a 501c3 that helps out youth baseball. Totally different. I'm not even comparing it to the same thing. However, I can tell you, our mission is not to have the best website. Our mission is not to have certain things. Our mission is to create opportunities and support the game of baseball. Okay. Now, you need a great website to do that. However, if you had to choose between, there's only so much you to go around, and there's only so much resources that you have right now.
Yep.
And so sometimes a website like yours, Mike, could be a little bit dated from time to time just because you spent the resources on something that was urgent versus something that wasn't. And that can, to the people that are trying to vet things out, there's a lot of fraud going on out there. There's a lot of people asking for things that they don't, that aren't real. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Now, you're not one of those things.
No,
all right. So I want people to understand that, folks, when he has everything that he needs and he has the staff and the officers, and when this thing is where it needs to be, and we're going to find out what that is soon, then all the information on the website can be current. So again, you can check them out online at changethestars.org, but everything, the most recent and current stuff is on their Instagram, changethestars.haiti.
Yes.
Right. So, all right, well, let's talk a little bit about, let's go back. So first of all, this was really founded in like 2012.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Okay. But a change happened in 17. So tell me that story.
I think it was 2018, if I remember right. We changed the name. It used to be Nashville Gives Hope, changed the name to Change the Stars. And to me, it's what we're doing. It's more meaningful. It's the kids that we have, or the kids that we're working with, most of the time they don't have hope, and their destiny, if you want to say that, is completely different than the kids coming out of the orphanage or the kids getting scholarships. They're getting to change their stars. They're getting to change their destiny. They're getting to make an impact on their own lives. We're not making the impact. We're giving them the tools and the chance to go out and thrive. And every one of them that gets a chance is thriving. They are changing their destiny. They're changing their outcome just because they're getting a little bit of opportunity that they would have never gotten.
Got it. And, again, folks, resources, awareness, these are all things that we need. Some of Pop and I's competitors in the space of travel baseball have more resources. And, if we've got a scholarship that we want to give, or if we've got a facility that needs work, and we've got just the amount of resources for that, we have to choose between, do we update the website, do we fix it, do we spend $2,000 on the website, or would you give this $2,000 to this program over here, or this in this form of a scholarship to this kid? You choose not the website. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So again, if it sounds like one of your needs might be, we need a web developer to step up and make sure that that's never a thing.
Somebody actually just volunteered and is getting ready to start working on it.
Absolutely. So there's an ask right there. I know we've content is something I want to help you with, and maybe we can find you somebody that a web developer that can step up and help you get things where you want it to go.
The Hitstreak is powered by Team Hyder. Team Hyder has been serving you for 11 years and has racked up over 20 national and local awards for excellence in all areas. When it comes to finding the right health plan, we need to consider your family's needs and your family's budget. That's what we do to serve you. To look further and to book an appointment, visit teamhyder.com.
So you told a story about changing the name and everything else. What do you see this when it's operating, when it's literally changing the stars, but more stars? Where do you see this when it's at its full capacity?
To sit back and look at goals, obviously the new orphanage that we're helping is going to be a process with that many kids. So a lot of focus is going to go on that, obviously keeping funding what we're doing. But, the scholarships, that impact, it changes generations. I would love to, in the near future, take it from 40 kids, honestly, to 1,000 kids, because I know that's going to impact that country. Making sure the kids that we have in the two orphanages are getting taken care of well. They're in a loving environment, and they get to have dreams and goals and pursue them. And, there's a lot of orphanages in Haiti that that need the same kind of help. The conditions are similar, and so many of them are worse with what's going on. So growing that is a huge goal of mine, to be able to impact kids on that kind of level. The story that just happened this last week, we've got three of the boys that were at the orphanage that are at universities in Haiti right now. About a week and a half ago, and I talk to them all the time, and one's studying to be a diesel mechanic, another one's studying journalism, I think. And I get a message like a week and a half ago, where they were living, going to school, that area got taken over by the gangs. And so they stayed in their place for days without food and water, messaging back and forth with me. We got somebody to get to them, to get them some food and water. And then 3 days ago, I got a message, and they were in a situation, the gangs came to their building, were executing people right in front of them. And they were literally waiting to be next. They left the next morning at like 5 a.m. Have them in a hotel now, looking for a place for them to live. But it's just, I can't even imagine the fear and the torment that they're going to have. Just talking to him now, the little one boy is, it's every noise he hears, he jumps. We have a psychologist actually is going there tomorrow to help them deal with some of the trauma. But it's what's going on in Haiti right now. And but I didn't sleep for a couple of days, worried. And I've been with these kids for 12 years. They're like my children. But they're safe now, and so hopefully I can sleep again.
That's right. We were talking before we hit the old record button about some of the things, and I know we're sending, a lot of aid to other places. Like, talk to me a little bit about if you compare, what your take is on that.
Yeah, I think, because I get the question all the time, why are we not helping? And to me, politicians right now, there's no drive to get them to really step up and speak out for the needs in Haiti. You have Ukraine, you have Israel, Gaza, and Gaza, we're dropping food, getting food to the people, and there's more than twice as many kids in Haiti not being fed. But I think a lot of it is there's no oil there, there's no enemy there, and we already have so much money going elsewhere that there's no one really going to step up and try to push hard to get some aid there. And the consequences of that is, if the gangs do take over the government, we're going to have a Somalia situation in the Caribbean where everybody vacations, and the kids that are starving now, that number is going to magnify. It's going to be catastrophic. But no one is really stepping up to do that. And I think too, 2010 with the earthquake, everybody heard about the billions of dollars that were raised for Haiti. Most of the money doesn't get there. I think they're estimating less than 10% of the $7 billion raised got to the people of Haiti.
Where does it go?
It's kickbacks here and there, and it's not just Haiti. It's that corruption on gifts across the water. A lot of it disappears. You hear about that right now in Ukraine. There's so much money that disappears that it's not accounted for, but it's
checks and balances ain't getting checks and balance.
Exactly.
Check and balance.
And I don't want to go one way or another on that, but I know it's not getting to where it should, and they need it. And literally, there's nothing more heartbreaking than to hold a kid that's malnourished, that looks 6 months and they're 3 years old because they haven't been fed for so long. And
the long-term effects on that too are
it's unbelievable. And we have a girl at the orphanage now, Di Love is her name, and she's the cutest thing. And she was literally found in a field, and this is a couple of years ago. And they thought she was dead. So they pick her up, and one of the people knew about our orphanage. So they took her there, and they got her to the hospital and nursed her back to health. And she is the coolest, sweetest kid. And we have her sister as well now. But there's so many of those stories. And but knowing that her life is saved is about the most rewarding thing in the world.
And there's probably there's countless stories like that.
Yes, even in our walls, I could go on for hours about each individual kid and their story, and we're making a difference. I know we are.
Honestly, man, for me, I feel like the stories are one of the ways that help with the impact the most. It's one of the ways that I don't know, like, dude, it's hard to want to jump up and feel the urgency if nobody's really explained it to you. You know, if how can you understand the dire needs of a situation if you haven't really been properly explained the situation, you haven't seen it, right? So, again, I think one of the most powerful things we can do today is what you've seen. We can paint a photo, we can paint a picture that people that are listening with us today can kind of see, and it needs to fill their hearts. I wish they could, those of you that are watching with us, you can see, like, you can literally see the pain in your face when you're talking about some of these things and how it's affected you, so, but if you're not, you can hear it. But I don't know. It just sounds like what are some other stories that kind of stand out? I mean, you've been doing this for so long. I want to hear some good stories too, because what you're doing is you're trying. You mentioned the word generations. Like, what you're doing is getting to affect generations. So the kids that you're saving right now are being groomed and to serve and give back.
Yes.
To be the future. Like the old song, "We believe the children are our future," right? So that's what you're doing. So talk to me about some more stories.
Gotta go on for hours. One thing it's happened in the last few years, because we had that connection with the hospital and we helped them. There's multiple kids that get abandoned there. The parents can't feed them. They've watched them starve near to death. They end up at the hospital and they know they're getting fed. So they make that sacrifice of literally walking away, it's heartbreaking. But we've gotten a few of those kids at the orphanage, and we have 3 more coming. Should be next week, depending on how the conditions are, safely to get them to travel. But I went down, and there was this little girl and little boy, brother and sister, Ashley and Patricia, and abandoned. With our license, we can only take 3 years old or older. And Patricia,
say that again.
With our license, we have the kids we can take have to be 3 years old.
Okay.
And
Gosh, what if they don't make it that long?
Huh?
What if they don't make it that long?
Well, that's the hospital, because Patricia was that old, and we took her, but her little brother Ashley was not old enough, and the nuns at the hospital, they kept him until he hit his birthday, and then we moved him. So they were apart for, I think, 8 months, but they're back together. And oh my God, those kids are so much fun and so happy. And we got another one on my 2 visits ago, and the same thing, like, to go down, like the first day I was there when we brought him from the hospital, and he gets there and he comes out of the hospital. He's got his little backpack and like the cutest little kid. And we get to the house and he walks in, and the orphanage is like beautiful. We got swing sets, basketball goals, soccer goals. The kids live a pretty good life, and I literally got a bounce house in a duffel bag and took it down. And so he gets there and he's just so overwhelmed. And because I met him the day before, he's like instantly in my lap and just kind of watching everything going on. And and I had to leave. I don't stay at the orphanage. I stay at a hotel. And he saw me leaving and doesn't understand English or anything, but he could tell what I was doing. And you see him go get his backpack like he's getting ready to roll out with me. And I'm like, ooh. And so got distracted, and I left, and I felt bad, because I'm like, I wonder how he was after I walked away. And I go back the next morning. I'm there at like 8 o'clock, and he's on the ground wrestling around with one of the other little boys like he'd lived there his whole life. It was just like that transition was so fast. It was it was cool to see. We've got a couple boys, the ones that just dealt with the trauma of watching executions, thinking they were next. Their little brothers are still at the orphanage, and the cool, they've come to visit, which is where the orphanage was before. They couldn't get there because it wasn't safe. Where they are now, it's safe, and hopefully that continues. But their situation was father killed the mother, And so we get all the brothers, and they've grown up there, and now the older ones are at college, but the younger ones are still there. And I posted a video of this. They were coming to visit, and they hadn't seen each other in a year and a half because of where the orphanage was. They couldn't get there, and they were in Port-au-Prince. So we got the kids moved into a new orphanage August 1st. And I talked to the brothers. I'm like, you need to come visit. So we surprised them, and they pull up in the car, and Ronnie's the youngest, and he was standing there next to me, and he's kind of watching, and he's looking at me, and he's looking out, trying to see who's getting in. He sees his brothers get out of the car, and he just looks at me and smiles. Tears start running down his face. It was just one of those moments that it was pretty cool. And then later that night, his older brother is giving him haircuts, and like it was just that moment, and it had been a year and a half that they hadn't seen each other. It was as special as it gets.
The Hitstreak is powered by Team Hyder. Team Hyder has been serving you for 11 years and has racked up over 20 national and local awards for excellence in all areas. When it comes to finding the right health plan, we need to consider your family's needs and your family's budget. That's what we do to serve you. To look further and to book an appointment, visit teamhyder.com.
You know, I have a 3-year-old at home, and when she comes up and climbs in your lap, it's the rest of the world don't exist in those moments, you know. And it's as our son is about to be 15, you know, he's grown up, and that when he was her age, it seems like an eternity ago. However, having her, it's brought back all this flood of memories that were stored in there, you know. And it's I'm amazed at how resilient and courageous children are.
Oh yeah.
Versus working with adults that, you know, true or false, those kids that are over there, they've seen worse than we can imagine. They've had worse than we can imagine. They haven't had worse than we can imagine. Yet, you know, when an adult is in a situation similar like that, just getting them to smile, you might not ever be able to do it. But a child, you can.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And like those kids, a lot of them have lacked any kind of attention, nurturing, and like you walk up and I haven't seen them for months, or if I've seen them the day previous, you walk in and you're just surrounded, and it's all smiles and giggles and excitement, and it's cool. It's cool to see. It's way cooler to experience. The children's hospital. They're so overwhelmed that there's not enough staff to give any kind of affection to the kids. So it's, you know, they're busy changing diapers. They're busy doing feeding tubes, giving medicine, feeding. So the kids there don't get any kind of affection. And so it was the last time I was there, you walk in and the kids see you and they just start screaming for you. And like you walk around the corner and they're, the healthier ones are like standing up in their crib waiting for you to come snatch them up and hold them. And there used to be 2 days a week at the hospital that they would let volunteers come in and spend some time with the kids. Well, since COVID and the gangs, they haven't had that at all. So there's just no affection. And the kids are there for months. You know, if they come in malnourished, they got to get weight back on them. They got to get more weight on them just to get them healthy enough to let them go, because they're going to be right back in that same situation. So you'll see kids there for 6 months, 8 months, and they don't have family there. Sometimes family will come visit. Some, like we talked about before, that don't come back, but they're starving for that affection. And like they're in your arms. And one of the little girls that's going to be coming to the orphanage, she's 3. And she is the tiniest little thing. And the last 2 times I was there, she was at the hospital. And the first time I was there, like she came to me and I held her for days. Every time I was there, she was in my arms. And I went back this last time and I didn't realize she was there. And I was talking to somebody and I felt this little tug on my shorts. And I turned around and it's that little girl. And it was like back in my arms and never left my arms the whole time. Like I hate it for her that she has to come to the orphanage personally, I love that. I know this sweet little angel has got a future ahead of her.
Mm-hmm. Jeff, there's so many ways in which, like, I have so many questions, and you know, first of all, thank you for all that you're doing. Like, you know, as I'm aware of where we're at in this episode, I want to make sure that I'm covering everything that you want to that you need to get out today, right? So, is there any, before I shift and take us anywhere else, is there any other directions, anything that's on your heart right now that you feel like we need to talk about?
We are doing. I did a fundraiser right before COVID, January 20, and I haven't done one since. I don't have a clue how to do it, but I have some people actually volunteering to help, and we're doing a fundraiser September 21st. It'll be at the factory at Franklin, and that stuff will be on our website, Instagram, so we'll start putting that stuff together, but just kind of mark your calendars for that date.
What's some things you need for that? You need sponsors?
Definitely need some sponsors. We're doing some silent auction and auction items, so those would help as well. And they can get a hold of us, message on the Instagram or the organization. I have my emails on there as well, so if they can contact me that way, that works.
Have you ever, this is off topic, but like, you know, I can't tell you how much in business and in relationships that this podcast, that this platform has created for me. I talk about it a lot. It's by far the sharpest tool in my tool belt, and been the cause for the significance of growth the last 5 years. And this podcast is only 2.5 years old, but we were doing stuff leading up to it, you know, but regardless, the relationships, like you were talking about, the names on the wall, the people that have been on this show, the amount of proximity and opportunities that have come from just having a conversation like this. Have you ever thought about having a podcast and using it as a way to not only create awareness, but get content, but be able to use that as a way to both feature some of your supporters, whether it be a web developer or, you know, a way to just give other people opportunities to sponsor?
I haven't until recently, because I know there's a wide reach you can get with it and support. And so, no, I haven't in this last couple of months. It's something I've thought about. Absolutely.
Especially, you know, being able to feature, put some faces to names over there.
Yeah.
To help people connect that way too. You know, I honestly, and this is not a knock, but like I remember those, I don't remember what organization it was, but the song, it was that song "In the Arms of an Angel," those commercials that you heard, that, man, they got you every single time. Yep. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's got, like, that was very effective, obviously, because they were able to say this, like, I could see, look, you know, that camera was looking right in the eyes of that child, and I could see it. And that was very effective. And I think that some of those things might help you. Who was that? What was that organization? Does anybody remember? Or even like Natalie, what was the name of the girl that sang that song? I don't even remember, but it was.
I know. I got the song in my head.
It was a huge hit, and then they turned it into, you know, the
Sheryl Crow, I think, did that song too.
Was it Sheryl Crow? Let's see. I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm just curious, because there's people in the car listening to us right now that are screaming at their windshield at the top of their lungs. I'm googling it. In the Arms of an Angel. There we go. Sarah McLachlan.
That's what it was.
That's it. Sarah McLachlan.
That's it.
Way off. I was way off. Sarah McLachlan.
I had an S right. That's about it. Yeah.
That's right. But anyways, that's something, dude. I would strongly, I would say to strongly consider doing that, because again, it gives you a platform, gives you content, gives you an opportunity, gives you a way to share the message. You could interview people, you could talk directly to the camera, or both. You know, whatever it was you needed to do to just talk about what's happening, promote, just make things happen faster for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's the thing that I love about digital marketing is it runs even when we sleep. You know, it runs 24/7. So that's a beautiful thing about it. Well, Jeff, what else is there? Folks, we're with Jeff Ponchillia, the founder of Change the Stars. Check him out on Instagram at changethestars.haiti and online at changethestars.org. Jeff, are there any other stories, any other asks, any other awareness that you're wanting to create today?
Yeah, I could go on with stories, but I just think it's understanding the severity of what's going on there. It's not touched in the press much.
It's only getting worse, right?
Yeah, it's catastrophically worse, and there's been some recent press, but it's more focused on the gangs and the killing of the gangs and the gang, one of the gang leaders barbecue. I've seen a lot of stuff in the press about cannibalism that's not really going on. But the true story is the suffering, the suffering of the kids that are going without food, the kids don't have a home, the kids that don't have hope. And the press isn't showing it that much. And honestly, it's irritating. Other parts of the world, they're showing the suffering of the children more. And I think that's what drives the money to those places. Because
no doubt.
People see kids suffering. It tears at your heart, especially parents.
Especially good people. Yeah.
Yes. And so they're not showing it, and people can kind of dig and see on their own. Even like our Instagram, you can see some of the images at the children's hospital. They don't like us taking a bunch of videos or pictures there.
No doubt. So you got to protect the kids. Yeah.
And so we keep it minimal, but there's enough there, but there's millions of kids. They're estimating right now 3 million kids are in serious need of help and aid because they're not getting fed. It's 3 million. There's 11 million people in that country. And it's serious. The need is there, and you're saving lives. Like there's 100% you're saving lives getting these kids fed.
So the folks listening today, they're like, hey man, I want to do something right now, right? First of all, if somebody wanted to, I don't know, somebody's a member of a church congregation and they wanted to take this to their church, what's the what would they take to the church? What's the best way to do that? And obviously, if they want to reach out to you and say, "Hey, man, how can I help?" What's some things they can do right there?
They can reach out to me on the webpage. My email contact is on there. Instagram, they can message me there. My phone number 615-456-8415.
Wow.
I answer my phone all the time.
I can verify that.
Doesn't matter what time of day, I'll answer my phone. And like if somebody has a church that wants to get involved, I'd come speak and kind of make them aware and go in depth on the needs that are there. I would love to bring people down to visit because I'm telling you, the second you meet any of these kids, it's game over. The direction of your life has changed. Like there's just no way around it. Right now is not the time to do it, but hopefully soon. But anybody that wants to go down and kind of volunteer or just go down and spend time with the kids and just see what's going on, hopefully soon that'll change to where people can get back down there and it's safe. But until then, like, I'd love to come sit and talk to anybody about things they could do to help, and I'd be there in a second. That's
what I'm talking about. And folks, once again, September 21st, right here in Middle Tennessee at the Factory of Franklin. They're going to have an event there with more coming out on that. And folks, we're with the founder of Change the Stars, Jeff Ponchillia. Change the Stars is a government associated or a government elected 501c3 not-for-profit, and working on some stuff over there as well. Go ahead.
Something else too, another way to drive money there. I do loans for Wesley Mortgage, loan officer, and I do donate 100% of what I make there. So
there you
anybody
go.
Needs any kind of refinancing, purchase, real estate agents that need a lender, and that's wesleymortgage.com /Jeff. But you can get a hold of me that way. But I will donate and continue to donate all my earnings from doing mortgages.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I know after we wrap this, we do a lot of, I speak to a lot of real estate and mortgage people. Because most of those guys have a hard time reaching their audience. They have content problems, and that's one of the things I go talk to them about, right? So when we wrap this, you and Jim need to have a conversation about maybe we coming out there and talking to the folks out there at Wesley Mortgage about something like that. Absolutely. Jeff, is there anything else as we bring this sucker to a close? Any final notes or anything else? I can't thank you. So I know it's not easy to talk about, but I appreciate you coming on and sharing this with us today and so on and so forth. Any final notes as we bring this sucker to a close?
Just get out and help, whether it's in Haiti or here in your home, wherever it is. We buy things and we do all this and it feels good when you get it. There's nothing more impactful on your own personal life than helping somebody else.
That's right.
So get out and help, whatever it is, whatever your focus wants to be. Just go do something for other people, because there really is nothing better personally than that.
And if somebody just, because I know getting stuff over there, so obviously the donations are probably most effective now than buying the stuff, because you got to ship it over there and you're restricted with that, but you're not restricted with the money because that's electronic, right?
Yes.
So for the folks that would like to donate, where can they go to do that? And then if they wanted to say, hey, I want to provide some goods, how would they go about that as well?
Our website, you have places you can donate. It's changeofstars.org. Also, Venmo, you can look at Change of Stars and you'll see us pop up, and you can do it that way on Venmo.
Perfect.
And then the website too, you can get a hold of me, or Instagram, or phone number, whichever one you want to use. But I'll answer anybody's questions that they have.
Boom.
The Hitstreak is powered by Rack Financial. When it comes to your credit card merchant processing, Rack Financial is efficient, reliable, and trusted. At the end of the day, when it comes to processing your credit card payments, they make it simple, the way it's supposed to be. Check out Rack Financial.
Well, brother, again, it's so awesome to see, how all of us have grown up from 20 years ago.
A little different than 20 years ago.
Absolutely. And all the things that we've done, and man, that group of kids just having a good old time in a different world back then.
Yes.
It's great to see how many people have gone off to do great things and so on and so forth. And honestly, man, you were a leader amongst the boys back then. And, there was always an aura about you. You had a presence when you were in the room. Everybody knew you were there. I always felt like you were a really good leader. You had a really good eye for talent. Knowing who to hire and put in the right positions to thrive. As a first-time bar owner, you kicked total ass, I thought, and it was
too much of a playground, but yes.
That's right. But again, a lot of playgrounds like that go out of business, and yours thrived. And that just goes to show you the leadership credentials that you bring, and your ability to hire and put people in the right positions to thrive. Right. So there's no doubt in my mind that when you get properly funded, or have the awareness and the tools of everything you need, that this will also take off as well. So again, the reason I brought you on is because, again, it's hard to find great people doing great things these days, it seems like it. But when you get them, it's like you want to put them on a platform, So, on behalf of everybody that you've helped so far and that you're going to be helping in the future, thank you.
Thank you for giving me this.
Absolutely. And I look forward to staying in touch. It's been too long for sure.
Yes, definitely.
You know what I mean? Well, brother, thanks so much for hanging. Once again, folks, Jeff Ponchillia, the founder of Change the Stars, changeofstars.org, and on Instagram at changethestars.haiti, right?
Correct.
Awesome. Well, folks, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of The Hitstreak. I am your man, Nick Hyder. God bless.